So, at New York I found my friend Collins, who had arrived there some time before me. Now Collins was a good character previously, even more learned than Ben. Collins is the one, when they argued, they would have to... Ben would basically lose just because he didn't have enough material and stuff. And Ben would go write his ideas down later and be like, I'm sure I was right, but Collins was so much more persuasive and everything. He won. But during my absence he had acquired a habit of drinking brandy, and I found him by his own account, as well as that of others, that he had been drunk every day since his arrival in New York. And he had gamed, too, and lost his money, so that I was obliged to discharge his lodgings, and defray his expense on the road at Philadelphia, which proved a great burden to me. Luckily, he has 35 pounds extra. Now, he meets another governor. Get this. The then governor of New York, Burnet, son of Bishop Burnet, hearing from the captain that one of the passengers had a great many books aboard, desired him to bring me to see him. I waited on him, and should have taken Collins with me had he been sober. The governor received me with great civility, showed me his library, which was a considerable one, and we had a good deal of conversation relative to books and authors. This was the second governor who had done me the honor to take notice of me, and for a poor boy like me it was very pleasing. I can only imagine. We proceeded to Philadelphia. I received in the way Vernon's money, without which we could hardly have finished the journey. Now, Collins just wasn't able to find a job when they got to Philadelphia, and so he said, look, you've got this extra money, just help me out. Collins, quote, promising repayment as soon as he should be in business. At length he got so much of it that I was distressed to think that what I should do in case of being called on to remit it. His drinking continued, about which we sometimes quarreled, for when a little intoxicated he was very irritable. Once in a boat on the Delaware River, with some other young men, he refused to row in his turn. I will be rowed home, he said. We will not row you, said I. You must, said he, or stay all night on the water. So he's saying, I'm not going to row, screw you. If you want to go home, you row. We'll stay on the water if you don't row us home. And the others were just like, all right, what signifies? It doesn't matter. Let's go. Let's just row. But my mind being soured with his other conduct, right, they weren't getting along too well, I continued to refuse. So he swore that he would make me row or throw me overboard. And coming along, stepping on the thwarts towards me, when he came up and struck at me, I clapped my head under his thighs and, rising, pitched him head foremost into the river. I knew he was a good swimmer, and so was under little concern about him. But before he could get round to lay hold of the boat, we had a few good strokes pulled on her, out of his reach. And whenever he drew near the boat, we asked him if he would row, striking a few strokes to slide her away from him. He was ready to stifle with vexation, and obstinately would not promise to row. Finding him at last beginning to tire, we drew him into the boat and brought him home dripping wet. We hardly exchanged a civil word after this adventure. At length a West India captain, who had a commission to procure a preceptor for the sons of a gentleman at Barbados, met with him and proposed to carry him thither to fill that situation. Collins accepted, and promised to remit me what he owed me out of the first money he should receive. But I never heard of him after. The violation of my trust respecting Vernon's money was one of the first great errata of my life, along with calling his brother out on that indentured problem.